Okay? We're talking about evaluating expressions. The first question is, what does it mean to evaluate an expression? Well, what does the word evaluate mean? It means to starts with an S. Simplify. Or the same way Kingston just said, to make it less complex, make it smaller. So to evaluate, we need to then replace variables. That's the biggest thing. It's replacement. It's substitution. So we replace variables with parentheses. We substitute the given value, or there's multiple sometimes, into the parentheses. And then we simplify using the order of operations. Also, those who were not here yesterday and picked up their sheet from the folder back there, that will be due next Friday with your previous Unit 1 notes from the week before on last Tuesday. So it should say Unit 1 homework, that 1.5, 1.6, 7, and 8 practice from yesterday needs to be included with that. I forgot to say that earlier. So, any questions on the steps? It's replace, substitute, simplify. Those are the biggest takeaways here. Replace with parentheses, substitute the value or values into the parentheses, simplify using the order of operations. So they told me I have 2x squared plus 7 minus x given x is equal to -3. So as you can see, there's my parentheses in the place of the variable. What needs to go inside of those parentheses? -3. Using the order of operations, they tell me, remember, that is grouping, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. That's what that is. So, what happened here first? You got to do the exponent. So, what does that get me when I plug in parentheses, -3, close parentheses, squared? Everybody type that in. Don't say it out loud. You're going to have to know how to do this for a daily grade. I'll tell you when. Everybody get that typed in? What'd y'all get? Not yet. Because you see we have a step right there. Knowing your steps is essential. And what's happening here?
You got to combine the two negative signs to make the 3 positive.
Absolutely. So it should be +3. So now we can do the multiplication, correct? What's 2 times 9? Typing it into the calculator, giving people time. What'd y'all get? And what needs to happen over here?
Add 7 plus 3.
Type it in, don't say it out loud, give people time. Okay, what'd y'all get? And then what do I need to do for my last step? Add. So I have 18 plus 10. Type it in, give people time. What'd y'all get? 28? Any questions there? Any at all? So for example, number 1, they all have the same steps here. It says evaluate the following expressions with the given values. They told me m is equal to what? N is equal to? P is equal to? And Q is equal to? So you have to determine which one you're using in each thing. So if I'm looking at A, I have 8 plus N. What variable am I using? What variable? N. So, how would I rewrite this?
8
Plus. Thank you. The parentheses are essential. Now, do I have Any parentheses I have to work the inside of? No. Do I have any exponents? Do I have any multiplication? Do I have any division? Do I have addition? Sure do. What's being added? Plus. So get that typed in. Don't say it out loud. Give people time. I'll tell you when. Great. Pace with the teacher, please. That way you actually get the instruction that you're supposed to get. This is recorded. Don't try to get ahead of the class. Listen. You're in here for a reason. Didn't we just talk about Russian earlier during bell word? Have we learned nothing? Yes, sir. Absolutely. What did you get?
-3.
Did y'all get -3 along with him? Thank you. Any questions there? Looking at B, I have 4 times 10 minus Q. What variable am I using? So how would I rewrite this?
4 parentheses 10 minus parentheses -5.
What needs to happen first?
Inside 10,
Inside the parentheses, what needs to happen?
10
Uh-huh. Plus,
5.
because those double negatives make that a positive. Absolutely. From there,
10 plus 5.
10 plus 5, so what's being brought down?
4 and 15.
What's happening between them? Multiplying. So what needs to be typed in now?
4 times 15.
Don't say it out loud. Give people time. What'd you get, Gavin? 4 times 15? Did y'all get 60 along with Gavin? Good job. Any questions there? Looking at C, I have 3M. What variable am I looking at? So how would I rewrite this?
3 parentheses 4.
Is there anything to work inside of the parentheses? Any exponents? Any multiplication?
Yes.
3 times 4. So get that typed in for me, please. Don't say it out loud. Give people time. I'm coming around. Ian, what'd you get? Everybody else get 12? Great job. Looking at D, any questions on C? Okay, I have Q times 5 minus 4Q. What variable am I using? Q. So how would I rewrite this? In parentheses, then. What are we missing?
No parentheses 5 minus. There's another parentheses 4
Then.
parentheses -5.
Yep. So, what needs to happen first? What was it?
Would be 5 times 4.
Not quite. You're in the right area?
5 minus 4.
No.
No, it's 4. -4 minus -5.
Not quite. That's not the operation that's happening there. I agree it's inside of the parentheses because there are parentheses to be simplified. But that's not the operation. Think about it. What should happen inside of the parentheses first? Jordan, what'd you say? -4 times -5. Does multiplication and division come before addition and subtraction? Do you have this written down? Make sure you referencing it, okay? That's the order of operations. So, this is coming down. What should be on the inside of the parentheses? 5. And then what did Jordan just say to type in? So type that in, don't say it out loud. -4 times -5, I'll tell you when. Waiting on Jordan, he's still typing in. You get it, Jordan?
Yeah.
What'd you get, Matthew? So we have what in between the 5 and the 20? What sign? Not times. Plus. Because two negatives make a. So what needs to happen next? 5 plus 20, so what's being brought down? And then what am I typing into my calculator? Mm-hmm. Everybody get 25? Then what I need to do from there? Multiply, type that in, don't say it out loud, give people time. -5 times 25. Aaliyah, what'd you get? Did y'all get -125?
Yeah.
That sounds correct to me. Thank you, ma'am. Any questions there? E. How do I read this?
N to the square root of 2.
No.
To the power 2.
Thank you, to the power of 2. That is not a square root, that is a square. So you say n squared or n to the power of 2, n exponent 2, things like that. Not square root. Okay, square root looks like that. We don't have that in there, okay? So, looking at this, what variable am I using?
-11.
So, how would I write this?
-11 is 42.
Is that on the inside or the outside? Outside. Do you think the parentheses matter in this case?
No.
Okay, type it without it. Type without the parentheses. Don't say it out loud. Just type without the parentheses. So just type in -11 squared. What'd you get? And you would have been wrong on your test. So do the parentheses matter? They sure do. So let me explain why. When you're doing exponents like this, you're saying that number times itself twice. What happens when I multiply -11 times -11? It becomes a positive 121. So when I type this in, you see how it gets me the exact same answer? So does the parentheses matter in this case? Sure do. So what's my answer? And I put a star right next to it because parentheses matters. And these kind of problems are what make people get it wrong on their test or on their quiz or anything in between. Okay? I'm trying to make sure that you don't make these small mistakes. Any questions there? Looking at F, I have 5m divided by 2. 5m divided by 2. What variable am I using? M. So how would I rewrite this?
5 parentheses 4 parentheses,
Mm-hmm.
then divided by 2.
There we go. Absolutely. What needs to happen first?
4 times 5.
4 times 5, 5 times 4, same thing, right? So typing in 5 times 4, if you don't know it, I'll tell you when. What'd you get? So I have 20 over 2. Can that simplify? So type that in, I'll tell you when. What'd you get? Everybody get 10? That's correct. Any questions there? Now this one is going to require some work, okay? I have 2n plus 20 minus 2q. What variables am I using? N and q. So how would I rewrite this?
2 parentheses 11.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 2 minus 5.
Uh,
Or plus parentheses plus minus 5.
mm-hmm. It's a -5 there when you're saying it in that context, okay? That way they don't think it's an actual minus sign, okay? and you don't confuse yourself and think that it's a minus sign. So what needs to happen first?
Negative 5 times 2.
Negative 5 times that negative 2, right? So what's being brought down?
2 parentheses, negative 11 plus 20.
And then type in negative 2 times negative 5. Don't say it out loud. I'll tell you when. What'd you get? So what needs to go behind this 20?
Plus 10.
Plus 10. Because 2 negatives make a... There we go. So what do I need to do from here? Inside the parentheses, so what am I typing in?
Negative 11 plus 20 plus 10.
Thank you. That whole thing could be typed in on the inside. So type in negative 11 plus 20 plus 10. Because addition and subtraction can be done together in the calculator. So don't say anything yet. Typing it in, negative 11 plus 20 plus 10. Negative 11 plus 20 plus 10. I'm going to write down the other steps that would actually happen here. Really, that's just an in-between step of saying negative 11 plus 20. All right, Jordan Atticusson, what'd you get?
19.
19. Did everybody else get 19 there? So what's my last step here?
2 plus 19.
So 2 times 19. Pause. Give people time. If you can't count to 10 from what I just said, you're going a little too quick. We're trying to make sure everybody with us, okay? That's how we keep ourselves as a group and we don't discourage anybody. All right? All right. You and Kingston, we're going to work on that. That way y'all can pace yourselves. Count to 10, okay? I might not be counting out loud, but I'm usually counting when I ask. Everybody good? Now what'd you get?
38.
Everybody else get 38? Perfect. Any questions there? How are we feeling?
Good.
Feeling better?
Yeah.
Let's look at H. I have 6 times mn plus p. What variables am I using?
M and P.
M, N, and P, right? So how am I rewriting this?
6 parentheses 4 times negative 11 plus negative 5.
It's P. So what's P?
2.
So what needs to happen first?
Negative 11 plus 2.
No. What comes first in your order of operations? You already told me to work the inside of the parentheses. I agree with that. So what's after the grouping symbols?
4.
What does E mean? What does E mean? Is there any exponents inside of that parentheses? What comes after E? Multiplication or division. Do I see either one of those two inside of the parentheses? Between which two numbers?
4 times negative 11.
Thank you. So what's being brought down unchanged? 6, parentheses, typing in 4 times negative 11. Don't say anything. I'll tell you when. Everybody got it typed in? What'd you get?
Negative 44
Everybody get negative 44? What should come behind that?
plus
Plus.
parentheses 2.
If it's just addition, we can bring it down as is after the initial substitution. Does that make sense? What needs to happen next?
Negative 44 plus 2.
Type that in, please. Don't say anything yet. I'll tell you when. Everybody get it typed in? What'd you get?
Negative 42.
Everybody get negative 42? Then
6 times negative 42.
type that in. Don't say it out loud yet. So, everybody get it typed in? 6 times negative 42 is?
Negative 252.
Everybody get negative 252? These numbers can get big. Don't let them scare you. If they get big, that's okay. Because aren't integers and whole numbers and rational numbers all supposed to be big and small in every variation? Yeah, so don't be afraid. In algebra, this can happen. That's normal. Okay? Everybody still with me? Okay, looking at I. I have two, what are those bars called?
Graphics.
Holding places.
What are these two lines called? They have a name. Absolute value. There you go. So, it's two absolute value of P plus Q. What variables am I using here? P and Q. So, how would I rewrite this? Uh-huh.
Two value.
Absolute value.
2
Mm-hmm.
plus negative 5.
What needs to happen first?
Inside the bracket.
Inside of that absolute value bar, because that's a grouping symbol. So, what's happening on the inside?
2 plus negative 5.
So, we need to type that in, correct? Get that typed in. Don't say anything yet. Give your classmates time, okay? Everybody time to type it in? Matthew, still typing it in? You're good. Jordan, you good? What'd y'all get?
Yeah,
-3.
What it come up?
So, what needs to happen next?
Write down 2. Make it.
I heard bring down the 2. I agree with that 100%.
Make it 3 apostrophe.
Why?
Because it's the absolute value.
Absolute value makes everything.
Positive.
So what's happening between that 2 and that 3? 2 times 3.
Teachers, students, I apologize for this interruption. This is a drill. Teachers, we are going to have a drill here in just a second. Again, this is only a drill. So at this time, teachers, if you would, let's go ahead and initiate our lockdown drill. Again, we're going to initiate our lockdown drill. Thank you very much. Bye.
Y'all are fine. All right. Move this way. This way. On the floor in front of my desk, right here. Get close, get close, get close.
Untie and drop.
Yep. Untie and drop. I have it right here. No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just not gonna move. Okay. Oh, no, it's fine. It sits right there. It doesn't move anywhere. Ian, that way. Y'all, this way. Ian, Jordan,
They
at my
can't
desk,
see you
at
from
my
the
desk.
door.
Move to my desk.
They can't see you from the door. We don't, anybody to see.
Miss Davis, hit the lights, please.
Teachers, that does include the drill. Thank you for your cooperation.
All right, guys, get to your seats. Thank you. All I have to do is step on. That's why it's there. You forgot. Oh, yeah, girl, we said it. We think about it here. I appreciate it. Y'all see that? We just saved us Hansborough's life. So if she ever says that we didn't do it, yes, we did. Because when he called that drill, we ain't supposed to open this door, period. We could have gotten us got. Y'all did a good job. But y'all just can't be in view sight of the door. So which means when we had somebody laying out, i.e. Jordan, in the middle of the floor right there, you could see him. And when a lockdown happens, do we want anybody to think that somebody's in the room? No, because that could be life or death, right? Kind of make sure your head's off, baby. So y'all did a great job. But when I say pile up at that desk, I mean on top of each other. Get it over them, okay? And I come ready. So if things really go to the fan, I got this to push in front of the door. We getting up out of here. I done told them we gonna make them the distraction down the hallway. And we gonna get out this window. So worst comes to worst, we getting up out of here, regardless. You thought this shelf was here just for y'all? No, this is the plan, this is the fail safe. Just in case I can push this right in front. We getting out of here. Whew.
When I run, you run.
Exactly. If you hear me say, go, 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 we get up out of there, okay? We ready up in B2. Because they got a door, Miss Webb got a door, we ain't got no door. We are literally at the front end of the hallway. So we got to get out, we get out. I ain't trying to scare nobody, but we gonna survive, okay? I told Miss Hansborough, I said, girl, you would have been locked outside if it was somebody else. Because if Miss Davis wasn't there, I would have looked at her through the window and said, we are in lockdown, you better go in the bathroom. Oh, Miss Stripley, no, I'll do it too. What's 2 times 3? 6. Any questions there? Sorry, anyone who's watching this recording. They did it a little bit earlier than they were supposed to, so that big pause in the middle was not based on what we were doing. It was a lockdown drill. That's for future people. All right, looking at J, I have m plus 6 divided by p. So what variables am I using? And? So how would I rewrite this? 4 plus 6, bless you, divided by? It's p. There you go. You keep getting P and Q confused. So it's P right there, okay? So what needs to happen first? Not 6 divided by 2 because multiplication or division comes first from left to right. So what's 6 divided by 2? So what's being brought down? 4 plus 3. Everybody get 7? Yes, no? Great job. Okay, looking at K. K is a special one, just like E. So which means how you substitute this in determines the answer that you get. You have to be mindful. So looking at K, I have negative MQ squared. So what variables am I using? M and Q. So how would I write this? Negative parentheses. Then and parentheses 2 as well. Then negative 5 in parentheses as well. And then what goes after that parentheses? How do I close this? With another parentheses and then exponent 2 squared. If you said either one, you're good. What needs to happen first? Inside the parentheses, so none of this matters, it's only the inside. What's happening on the inside? So type in 4 times negative 5. I'll tell you when. What'd y'all get? So what's being brought down? Negative Parentheses inside negative 20. Perfect. What needs to happen next? The exponent. So we leave this negative alone. We're typing in this. Does the parentheses matter in this case? Yes, because didn't we just figure that out on E? Yep. So type in parentheses, negative 20, close parentheses, squared. Don't say it out loud. Give people time. Okay? Jordan, did you type it in, baby?
Type when?
What I don't have covered. So this whole piece. Because remember, you do have a daily grade that you're going to get. So parentheses, negative 20, close parentheses, squared. What'd y'all get? So what's being brought down? And what's happening now?
Negative 1 times 400.
Thank you. That is negative 1 times 400 if you did not know that. Which gets you? Negative 400. If you recall from our properties, that's the multiplication property of negative 1. So MP minus 1. Any questions there? And L. So I have MP minus 2Q over 2. So what variables am I using? And Q, right? So how do I rewrite this? Parentheses. What is it? 4. 2.
2.
There we go.
Divided by 2.
So what needs to happen first?
4 times 2.
4 times 2, which is?
8.
And then minus.
Negative 2 times 5.
So what's negative 2 times, well, yeah, what's negative 2 times negative 5? So positive 10, what are we missing?
Divided by 2.
Over 2, right? Because that's multiplication, that can happen in the same steps. Great job. What needs to happen next?
Negative 10 divided by 2.
What was it?
10 divided by 2.
10 divided by 2, which gets us?
5.
So we have 8 plus 5, which is?
13.
Everybody get 13? Any questions there? How are we feeling? Okay. Flipping it on over. You're going to do some practice problems for me, okay? So, I want you to do 1, 4, 7, 10, and 12. I want you to do 1, 4, 7, 10, and 12. Do that? Bring it to me. It's daily grade. Any questions there? I froze my work up here. I'm going to refreeze it a little bit better. That way you can see the entirety of my work. Get started on that. Bring it to me when you're done. All right, guys, look at this. What did they tell me P was? Jordan, focus up here because you were struggling. Focus up here. Lean up, lean up. Lean up, Jordan. P equals what? Q equals what? And R equals what? So which one am I using for number 1? Negative 9 because R is there. So how do I rewrite this? 0.5. What's those things called? Absolute value of what? Negative 9. So what needs to be done first? Not the bracket, but the absolute value. So what's the absolute value of negative 9? What's happening between 0.5 and 9? Multiplication. So what's 0.5 times 9? 4.5. We should not overthink these. But do you see how I have all of my steps visible? If you got this wrong and there was no steps, how can I give you partial credit? Think about that. Because the teacher can show the steps, and I've already shown mastery in this. Obviously, I'm teaching it to you. You as a student should be showing these steps to see where you went wrong. Those who showed steps, I went through and marked where you went wrong on yours, so you could visibly see it. So, looking at 4, I have 3, Q minus R. So, what variables am I using?
Q and R.
So, how would I rewrite this?
3, parentheses,
Uh-huh.
10, parentheses, 10, minus, parentheses,
Minus 9, negative 9.
A lot of people did not know how this substitution was supposed to be written. This is how it's supposed to be written. I tried to go in and add as many parentheses as I can so you can see the clarity in what you're putting in. Does that make sense? What needs to happen first?
Make the not positive.
Make this positive, because 2 negatives make a
positive,
when you're multiplying. So I have 3, and what's in the parentheses?
10,
Plus.
9.
What needs to happen
10
next?
plus 9.
What's 10 plus 9?
19.
What needs to happen now?
19.
What's 3 times 19?
7,
How'd you get number?
Because what's 10 plus 9?
Oh, I think it was number 7.
Any questions there? From here, I have r cubed minus 7. What variable am I using?
R,
So how would I rewrite this?
9,
In.
parentheses,
Thank you.
square,
That's cubed. Then,
Minus 7.
from there,
So do the exponent.
do the exponent. Should I type all this in as I see it? So when you type in parentheses, negative 9, close parentheses, cubed, what do you get? Type it in, type it in. Especially if we knew that we were struggling with this one. Remember, you're going to have to be able to do it. Pause just a second. Make sure you are always typing in as we're going over it, because again, you have to model the work that you need to understand. Does that make sense? You can't just take someone's word. You have to do it yourself. What'd y'all get? If you didn't get negative 729, we need to check and see how you're typing stuff in, okay? Any questions there? What needs to happen now?
Minus 7.
Minus 7. So you need to type in negative 729 minus 7. I'm giving people time. Just a second, baby. You're okay. Everybody get that typed in? What'd you end up getting?
Negative 7.
Negative 736. Any questions there? Your work should be visible. If you can't see these steps, how do you know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong? Please stress it to me. Make it make sense. Because when you get down to ones like 10 through 15, if you don't show these steps, that's how you get it wrong. And notice, a bunch of us got these wrong. A bunch. Okay? Look at 10. I have a squared b minus b squared, where a is equal to what?
A equals to 3,
And b equals to?
4,
So how do I rewrite this? Parentheses. 3.
Square. Times square.
What needs to go after that 3? Close the parentheses then.
squared,
Then.
Times.
times,
Is that in parentheses as well? Then.
4,
Uh-huh. Close it.
minus,
Minus.
4.
4,
Mm. Oh, parentheses.
4,
4.
close,
Square.
squared,
If it didn't look like this, that was your first mistake. Because how you gonna know the order of operations if you ain't substituting incorrectly? Does that make sense? So, order of operations, is there anything to work on the inside of any of these 3 parentheses? What comes after the grouping symbols? Exponents, do I have any? What's the first one that needs to be typed in? 3 to the squared power, right? So 3 squared. Type in 3 squared, parentheses. So parentheses 3, close parentheses squared. Did everybody get 9? So 9 times what?
4,
Thank you. Minus, do I have another exponent? So what am I typing in?
4 to the exponent of 2.
4 to the exponent of the 2, 4 squared. Everybody get 16 there? What needs to happen next?
9 times 4,
9 times 4.
36,
Jordan, you typed it in?
This is saying the answer before I get
Baby, you have time. Anyone want something from snack cart? Go, Jordan. Don't worry, she'll catch up to her. What's 9 times 4, Jordan A?
36.
That's how you verify it. Don't take their word for it. Still type it in for yourself. They're learning how to pace themselves, but you need to learn how to check it for yourself. Those are two separate things to learn, okay? What's next?
36 minus 16.
Give people time. Type it in, please. You need to become masters of your tools in the classroom, which means your calculator. Typing in subtraction, addition, multiplication, and division should not be that hard to do. It should not be that long, right? What's 36 minus 16?
20.
That's how the answer should have been. But do you see all the steps in between? That's what we need to see. Does that make sense?
I know
12. I have negative y squared minus 3xy, where x is equal to what?
Negative 4.
And y is equal to?
2.
How do I rewrite this?
Negative
Negative
3.
parentheses.
2.
2,
Close.
close parentheses,
2.
squared.
X part of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Minus
Mm-hmm.
3.
Mm-hmm.
Parentheses.
Yep.
Negative 4.
Yep.
Close.
Mm-hmm.
Times
Mm-hmm.
2.
Perfect. That's how it should have been subbed in. Does that make sense? If you did not put parentheses behind that negative, that's where you mess up, okay? So, do I have anything to work on the inside of these parentheses? No. So what comes after grouping symbols? Do I have an exponent? What's 2 squared?
4.
So we bring down negative 4, correct? Minus, all this comes down. Focus up here. Is there any more exponents?
No.
What comes after exponents?
Multiplication.
Multiplication or division? Do we see multiplication or division here? What's the first one?
Negative 4 times 2.
What's negative?
Negative 1 times 4.
What's negative 1 times 4?
Negative 4.
And isn't all this multiplication back here? So everybody type in negative 3 times negative 4 times 2. Don't say it out loud. Type in negative 3 times negative 4 times 2. Type in negative 3 times negative 4 times 2.
Good morning, teachers.
What'd that get you?
Negative 24.
Not negative,
24.
because two negatives make a.
Pledge
What do I need to do next?
to the flag of the
Negative 4
United States
plus
of America,
24.
Type in negative 4 plus 24.
which it stands, one nation, under God,
What'd y'all give?
with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Do we see where the mistakes were? Show your work, okay? Practice problems are yours to do. Get packed up.
Tomorrow, during break, that will occur